Mr. Speaker, I appreciate being recognized, and I'm going to pause for a couple seconds because I'm delighted to have the support of my female colleagues with this resolution.
Yes, please.
I think I'm going to take a little liberty here to say that the red not only represents Representative Hahn's resolution, but the red that we're wearing today represents the outrage that we share, and we share with our male colleagues for the what's become epidemic is human trafficking. So, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate your interest as well as the interest from all of our colleagues as we speak about this resolution that recognizes January as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Human trafficking is often thought of as a problem that only occurs in far-off countries, but that's not the case. Mr. Speaker, can we have a little bit of quiet here?
Yes. Members.
And gentlemen, we ask for your respect because this doesn't just happen in far-off countries. This happens in the United States, our territories. This happens in Pennsylvania and in the communities that each one of us represent. It's an insidious, not spoken about problem that's basically human trafficking. And basically, women are typically the target. The average age of the victim is 12 to 14 years old. In the past 2 decades, this commercial sexual exploitation has grown, and the victims are said to be in the millions worldwide. It's a $100 billion industry. Yes, that's an estimate, but a pretty darn good estimate, and it's second only to the illicit drug industry. According to the Human Trafficking Hotline, in 2017, 151 cases of human trafficking were reported in Pennsylvania last year. Now, this happens from Bucks County to Lawrence County, all over. It's all over in Pennsylvania. A case in Newcastle resulted in a man being convicted of trafficking when he moved a 14-year-old girl from Ohio to Pennsylvania and then started to advertise her as a prostitute. How many of you have a 14-year-old daughter, niece, neighbor, or grandchild? In late November, 2 men were charged with operating a ring involving 6 victims across Montgomery, Lancaster, Philadelphia, and York counties. Starting to hit home, isn't it? Mr. Speaker, the timing of this resolution is no coincidence. As we look at plans for the Super Bowl, which will be played in just over a couple of weeks, we see an event that's ripe for this type of horrific activity. The large crowd, the partying, the transient customers, and basically an overindulgent atmosphere will make this sporting event a magnet for sex trafficking. Leading up to last year's Super Bowl, a crackdown occurred across the country. Culminating on Super Bowl Sunday, over 500 would-be sex buyers and traffickers were arrested. In Houston, 9 sex traffickers were arrested, and 73 adult victims and 3 juvenile victims were rescued. Operation Cross Country, which has now been conducted 11 times, has yielded over 120 arrests of traffickers and associates and rescued 84 exploited juveniles. On one raid, a 5-month-old child and her 5-year-old sister were recovered through the undercover operation. Colleagues, it's our responsibility, morally and constitutionally, to protect the victims of this insidious crime. We must recognize that it does in fact occur here at home, and that our children are preyed upon and groomed by these predators. The internet is typically the trafficker's first contact with the victim. And no, not all of these victims come from troubled homes. Raising an awareness is the first step, and one that each of us can take. I thank you for your unanimous support of House Resolution 641, making January Human Trafficking Awareness Month. By supporting this resolution, you are giving victims, men, women, and most importantly, children, a voice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.